Hello, welcome to For This Reason. I am your host, Koran Lategra. It is Thursday, May the 7th. The day is National Day of Prayer. And I think it started back in 1952 when it originally, and I think President Ronald Reagan put it into law for the country. And I tell you, if there's ever a time that we as a national day, international day of prayer is today, which we know every day is a day of prayer, so it shouldn't be just once a year. It should be every day. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, be much appreciated. Well, my guest today, it's been at least 2 months since we decided to do an interview and with busy schedules and everything. And I want to welcome Aidan and his mom, Bethanie Russell, to For This Reason. And they are script writers, they're performers, they write scripts. And they recently did a play out of the Book of Esther. And even though Esther was already written in the Bible, they did a great job. We had it at Shuvah, Israel a couple months ago, and it had drama, and it was great. It was spot on, and everything was good. I'll put that link in the description area. I think we have the YouTube channel on that. And so I just want to welcome these guys to For This Reason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So how did this all, I don't know, whoever wants to go first, your background in theater.
Okay,
Where did that start?
I'll start because I'm older, so my background started first.
And the mom.
And the mom is when it started.
And happy early Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So my career, I'm not a writer so much as my son is the writer. So we're a good team in that God has blessed me, and I've been able to use his scripts few times now,
Okay.
which has been really wonderful for me, because that's actually one of the areas that I felt that I was lacking. And but I'm an actor, teacher, singer. I used to be a dancer, and I teach acting, and that's why his scripts come really in the nick of time for me, because my students are able to perform some of the things that he's written.
Okay.
My career started with dance as a child, and I loved dance. And actually, Corey, you and I have this in common, because I started with tap
Okay.
because I wanted to make noise.
Yeah.
And tap is actually percussion. It's percussion with your feet.
Yeah, with your feet. Yep.
So I had a passion for dance, and then that led me to musical theater.
Okay.
And my family, my parents, got involved with our community productions, doing musical theater. And that was truly like my dream come true, when I found a place where I could be imaginative with other people and live in the story and get to share the story with the audience. And having a live audience is truly my favorite thing, because you share the experience with them. It's never the same twice. It's an art form that is just, kind of one time only, one experience only.
Yeah.
And then the next night it's a different art moment with a different audience. So that was my beginning, was with musical theater, and I went on to college to study theater and harp, actually.
Okay.
And I was a double major for a while, because I felt that I was kind of crazy admitting out loud that I really wanted to act. because I grew up in a small town. My only experience had been just doing some community theater, high school, spring musicals, that sort of thing. But I'd never taken a class. I had never had any official training. So I thought, this is crazy that I want to, try to do this as a career.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was a double major for a while until I realized that that performing the harp was something. Performing the harp was not as enjoyable to me as just playing the harp.
Okay.
So I loved playing, but performing was just, there was a lot of, I think, anxiety that went with it, just worrying about all the variables, broken strings and transporting it and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, the harp is kind of, I mean, I've seen some guys like, oh, wow, how did they do that? It just, so yeah.
It's a beautiful instrument, and my parents were great to get me started on it and be really supportive and take it everywhere I needed it to be. Yeah. So that was great. But the thought of doing that for a career for me it didn't feel like my passion, and theater truly was. So I continued with that, and then I went on I came to California for after college for a 2-year acting conservatory. Okay. And learned even more to hone my craft, and then during that time the Lord led me to meet my husband, and I ended up staying. And so this is where I've had a wonderful career of not only doing musicals, but some Shakespeare straight plays, and I've done a lot of youth theater and children's theater. Okay. So much of my career was or has been oriented to youth theater, and through that I was able to for about 20 years I brought books to life in the schools. Okay. And I started teaching, and then now I was teaching for a local regional theater, and I gained lots of experience and knowledge there. And now I teach my own. I have my own studio, and I teach homeschool students. Okay. And so that's why Aidan is a wonderful partner for me in this, because he's written some things that my students are able to perform. Yeah. And Shuvah Yisrael, where I attend the congregation, has often celebrated Purim, which is a holiday that celebrates how the Lord saved the Jewish people through Queen Esther. So in celebrating that throughout the years, often there has been some sort of skit or play, and we hadn't done anything for a little while. So this year I was asked to bring that to Shuvah Yisrael, and thankfully my scriptwriter, film guy here had returned from film school, and so he was home to write a really great script, and we were able to cast from our congregation. Wonderful volunteers. Most of them were really new to theater. Some had some experience in the past and wanted to get to do it again. And so that's how I've gotten to where we are today.
Yeah, and it was a great great performance. Everybody did really well.
They did. Yeah. They worked hard. Yeah. They were in rehearsal twice a week. And not everybody was at every rehearsal all the time, but there were 2 rehearsals a week, and people went, after their long days of school or their long days of work, and they put in a lot of effort on their own in researching and memorizing and just really working very hard on it. So it was a great collaborative effort.
Now, did you ever want to get into Hollywood, or was it just all, Christian, Messianic, Jewish? Did you ever want to go down the Hollywood road or to go further deep into your acting?
That's a great question, because when I started acting, it was in the 80s.
Okay.
And in that time period, it was, we didn't have as much information sharing as we do now. So it was really hard to find out about, what kinds of things were happening. And as far as I knew, in the theater world, a lot of what was being produced was mostly kind of mission-minded, or like a reach-out sort of thing, share the gospel, and I when I was I was a believer growing up, and I always kind of secretly worried that the Lord would send me off to some country I didn't want to go to be a missionary, right? You'd hear these missionary stories that were supposed to be really inspiring, and
jungle or something.
Yes, instead of being inspiring, it always was kind of concerning to me. And I think, like, oh no, is this like, if I just dedicate my life to the Lord, is He going to send me somewhere I don't want to go? And but the Lord matches our passions and our gifts and our talents to where He's going to send us. So even if we feel inadequate going, He does match our heart to the assignment. And I didn't feel that my assignment was in the Christian realm at that time. I really felt like my mission field was in just out there in the world, in regular whatever was happening in the theater world. So just at professional theaters all around the country, I was able to work, and the Lord always gave me another believer in the cast. So I always had encouragement, and He always gave me someone to build a relationship with, to share my testimony, to share the good news, to share one-on-one the gospel. And so my mission field has really been in the secular theatrical world, and so I it's only been recently that I've been doing things that are within a group of believers.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying that. So now I kind of have, a mix in my life, because I've had a career since 1988, working professionally. So I've built a lot of relationships over the years, and relationships are really kind of, that's key. That's why the Lord really created us, right? So we would have a relationship with Him, and that we could have a relationship with each other. So that's been the main focus of my career. I didn't go into film kind of purposefully, although I would, if the opportunity came up, I certainly would have, gone for it. However, I didn't seek it out. I love theater. I love live performances. I love feeling the audience there and hearing them laugh or sigh or be very quiet during, emotional scene. It's that experience with the audience that kind of fuels my passion for theater. And honestly, even today, knowing something is recorded, it makes me a little bit, it raises my anxiety level just
That's
a little
good, though.
bit.
That's good.
So,
Because we do that as musicians as well.
full disclosure, right? It makes me nervous. So
We can do
I'm a
it.
little nervous today. I'm trying to think of you all as like a live audience.
It's the same way as us as musicians. We can do it in rehearsal, but boy, once recording starts, or even in the studio, it's like, it's the on button.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. That's great. So now, Aidan, you do all the writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went to school for it, or how did you pass down the scripts to your mom, and then she kind of just puts the cast together? How did the your writing ventures and influences, where did that come from?
So I've always loved stories and storytelling ever since I was really little. And when I was about 10 years old, I had decided that I wanted to make movies.
Okay.
And so my mom, being the acting teacher, said that, well, if you want to make movies, if you want to direct anything, then you need to know how actors think. And so she forced me into acting classes.
I did.
She forced you.
That was the
Yes.
one thing that I made him do. Like other things, he had options. He had a say in it.
He's like,
But that was the one thing.
he wants to go outside and play, but you forced him to do that.
Yeah, so she forced me into acting classes, and I wasn't too keen on it for about a year, but then I kind of warmed up to it, and I had fun. And I learned a lot, and it was a really good experience for me as a creative
Yeah.
to try to learn how to break down a script and analyze it and get your intentions in your previous moment, everything that you need to kind of get through a scene as an actor.
Yeah.
And so from there, I went to film school because that's what I wanted to do. So I'd taken a couple of video production classes in high school, which were a little intimidating because I didn't know too much about cameras at the time, but I enjoyed them, and even I kind of enjoyed the challenge of it too. And then, so I went to film school on the East Coast and graduated.
In New York, or?
No, I was in Virginia at Liberty University.
Okay.
So they have a film school there, and it was really cool because they have a very hands-on program, which was great for me to get to have real experience with professional grade equipment, and to kind of get to explore different roles on set and just see what was there for me. And throughout the program, there's a lot of writing involved in screenwriting, and so I was still really interested in that. And I made a short film as my senior thesis, and it was a comedy, so I had a lot of fun with that, and I got to write and direct it. And then it's now shown at the Chinese theaters on Hollywood Boulevard, which is super cool. Yeah. So, but I've tried to keep up with writing scripts, whether they're for me or for somebody else. I really enjoy writing and creating characters and developing stories. And one of the things that I found that I really do enjoy in writing is adaptations. I like taking something that someone's already written and then adapting it into a different medium. I've gotten to do that a couple times. The first time, I think, was with Alice in Wonderland, because you had just gotten for your class a bunch of costumes for Alice in Wonderland. Somebody just given them to you. And so she was like, well, now I should probably do the show. I have all these costumes.
Yeah.
And So I was looking at like the rights to different scripts that are out there for Alice in Wonderland for the stage, but Alice in Wonderland was published, I don't remember when, but long enough ago that it's now in the public domain. And so I said, well, we can save, a couple $100 and I can just write the script myself. And then you can just do that. That way we have, you don't have to change it to fit how many kids are in your class, or, if there's,
because if you use a published script, then you have to pay for the rights.
Yeah.
And, it's per performance, and you're buying all the scripts, and then you're really stuck with or committed to doing it exactly the way that script is written. So
You have to
which
stick
is
to
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard when I don't know exactly like how many kids are going to sign up for my class, and so it was nice to have an in-house project so we could adapt it to the students that we had.
You were saying some of your scripts are in the Chinese theater?
Well, one of my thesis film that I made when I was at school,
Okay.
that short film had made it into the Golden State Film Festival, which screened at the TCL Chinese theaters on
Okay.
Hollywood Boulevard.
Was it recently?
Yeah, it's pretty recently.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
in March. March? Yeah,
Yeah, it
beginning of March.
Right after the
Okay.
Pearl
Wow.
play.
Yeah.
So that was its premiere. It was fun. It's a about 13 minute
Yeah.
film. It's a rom-com.
Is it like still in the theaters, or where can people see it? Or is it like already on what is it, Blu-ray or whatever it is?
Not yet. So it probably will make its way onto YouTube in the next, I don't know, year or
Okay.
two. But right now I'm still trying to get it into some film festivals. We just got accepted into the San Diego Movie Awards. So we're not sure if it's going to screen down there yet, but it's exciting just to get into the program.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be available eventually, but right now we're trying to see if I can get it into a couple more festivals first.
Yeah. And I think here in Newport, they have like the Newport Beach Film Festival.
They do.
Yeah. I don't know if it's in the summer or, if it's already passed already, but, that's something that you could probably, at least meet some connections,
It's true.
So when you write, where does your vision come from? Where does that come from? Do you like sit down and just start thinking about things, or as you're out and about, you just start coming up with, characters, or you see people and, oh man, I'm gonna write about this guy or this girl doing this, and it just kind of blows up to a script.
Yeah, sometimes it's something like that. Other times it's like with an adaptation, it's a lot more of like me reading something or somebody introducing me to something and then going like, wow, that would make a really great movie, or that would make a really great, stage play. Something like with Alice in Wonderland, or we did The Golden Goose from the Brothers Grimm. And so, reading that, like, I think you wanted another fairy tale to do for your students. And so we were I pulled out the, Grimm's fairy tales, and I was going through them, and I was like, which one of these would be fun for kids, And so the Golden Goose was fun because everybody ends up in a big train, and it's kind of funny. But no, sometimes it really is just like a simple little idea that I just go like, oh, hey, that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that could, and then it might balloon into something bigger. Like my short film that I've been talking about, it's about a man who falls in with a gang of criminals after he mistakes his Uber, or their getaway car, for his Uber. So he gets in the wrong car, and then he ends up hanging out with all these gang members, and that came about just because I had taken some Ubers, coming out of high school, and I always was like making really sure, like, what if I got in the wrong car? Like, how do I know, like, yeah, it might be a Honda Civic, but how do I know it's the right Honda Civic?
Yeah.
So So that's where that idea came from. And like I said,
You're going down the wrong area
yeah,
and you're seeing something different. It's not my stop. That's
That's
that
the
could be
journey.
that could be a good you I don't know how you would get the characters for that one, Bethany.
He 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 created a really fun movie with that idea. It's really fun,
Wow, okay.
and I have to jump in here, just as his mom, in case there's any moms or moms that need encouragement in this area. Aidan came home from school, from kindergarten, and he said that he had gotten in trouble for daydreaming
Oh,
that day.
oh.
And he was really so sad.
Which is probably common.
He had, yeah, and I said to him, "Do you know what daydreaming is?" And he said no. So he didn't even know what he was in trouble for.
Yeah.
But I was really pleased that he was daydreaming, because that we need those times. We need those, not necessarily when the teacher's talking, which I explained to him.
Yeah.
There are certain times when you can daydream at school. It's fine. You can daydream on your lunch break. You can daydream at recess. You can daydream during quiet time, right? But my little 5-year-old was daydreaming, and that is so vital to us as people. It's vital to us as artists, to no matter what kind of art you're involved in, or sensitive people, creative people. We're all creative people in some way, and daydreaming is really important, to give yourself time to just let your creative thoughts run. And so I think that just having quiet time, even quiet time with the Lord, is really important. He can speak to us when we're just daydreaming and letting our thoughts go down a path. That's when we come up with ideas. So even though a lot of ideas are inspired by life events or literature, or just maybe some quirky, funny situation in life that happens to us, it's important to give ourselves quiet time to daydream.
Yeah.
And just not be pumping in information and scrolling and the things off the internet, but just to be in nature, look out the window, and just see where your thoughts go.
Yeah. So even though the Book of Esther was already pre-written in the Bible, why that book? What is it about the Book of Esther that did you have to re-script that, or you just went,
so
about chapter?
yeah. So with any adaptation that I do, I try as best that I possibly can to stick as closely to the source material, whatever that may be, as possible. And with the Book of Esther, especially, I was like, well, this is the Bible. So like, I'm not, I don't have enough of an ego to think that I know better than God, So when it comes to what's written in the Bible, so I was like, I'm not going to change. Like, there's no way that I can really change anything. So now I did add some humor, and to try to lighten the mood, because if you read the Book of Esther, it really is a very serious book.
Yeah.
And the subject matter and the things that are happening, it's about the plot to destroy the Jewish people, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's not very light and kind of happy subject matter, but it is the celebration of Purim is a celebration, that God delivered them. Yeah. And so in an attempt to kind of not make it really dark and depressing for people to watch at Shuvah, then I I tried to find the humor and the irony, which is in the Bible, and I just tried to bring out those elements a little bit in the script, because like if you read it, the part where the king is asking Haman what should be done for the man that the king wishes to honor, and Haman, of course, thinks he's talking about Haman, when really he's talking about Mordecai, who's Haman has the biggest hatred for.
Yeah.
And so and I think, and he's telling the king all this great ideas, and the king says, okay, great, go do all that for Mordecai.
Yeah.
And, I can just, that I think that's such a really is kind of a funny moment in the Bible. And I know that's God having a sense of humor,
Well, the part where Rabbi Larry was doing him and I forget
Yes.
the guy,
Harry.
and yeah, they were playing the Harry. Yeah, they were playing the music, and that was perfect for him to do. I mean, Rabbi Larry and Harry, they were like, tag team Amos and Andy type of thing. So that brought really good humor, and they kind of split it up.
Yeah, so we try to find a good balance between, enough humor to keep it light and fun and people engaged, but also let the really kind of serious moments speak for themselves, and not try to undercut them with a cheap joke or something. So, I did my best to kind of give it a balance, where it's like, okay, you can laugh at Haman for being, the bad guy, but he's also still the bad guy, and what he's doing is dangerous and has consequences. And so
I think as the director, sometimes I honestly forgot that Aidan had written this play, and sometimes I would get stuck with, okay, I need to figure out like what's the best way for them to be positioned and have motivated movement on stage, to create some nice pictures and have there be movement for the actors that made sense for their characters, and whether it's just simply walking away from somebody because you're upset with them, or whatever the moment was, and then I would think, oh, just go back to the script. It's in the script, and it truly was. He wrote a very good script where each character was. Each character had their motivations were very clear throughout the whole play, and you could see as the viewer, you knew, like, if you're watching good or evil, you could see the conflict all the time, and there was humor in it, and some additional little bits of modern humor occasionally, just kind of sprinkled in that the audience connected to a lot, but most of it was really very authentic to scripture, and we even had narrators that were basically just quoting scripture, that
pretty much
told the story, and the moments, there were the serious moments were beautifully done by our actors. They were, very sincere, very serious, really trying to connect, and then the audience just loves to hate Haman. Yeah. So they had it was kind of the perfect combination of knowing that he was the evil character, but being able to laugh at him, and the actor playing him did a good job with that too. Yeah. Where he, no kid was going to go home scared of Haman, but you did know that he was definitely the bad guy in the story.
So What's next for you guys? You guys are going to, you got any new scripts coming up? And you, Bethany, have any casting going on for the scripts that Aidan is doing? So what's the next step now? Or maybe you should take Esther and do an Esther tour.
We want to do it again next year so that we're able to do it as more of a reach out, get to have more people get to see it, because it was a one time only performance and they worked so hard, so they really it deserves to be seen more, and just I think more people would really enjoy it. And so we want to do that again. This time I had made kind of just a decision for my own sanity that anybody involved needed to be 17 or older. So I was going to be working with adults on this project, because I also had my own students that I was working with too. So I was already doing a different project with students elsewhere. And so this was my opportunity for adults. The adults that came out that wanted to be part of a ministry project were such a blessing to us, and they were so happy to be involved. And some had never done anything before, or they had done something when they were younger in their lives. And so it was really nice to get to work with an adult group for this project. But that being said, there were a lot of teenagers and kids that came up to me begging me, please, I want to be in the play, please, I can act older. I can be mature. I could do it. And so I promised them that I would do something for them next, the teens, the older kids and teens.
Yeah.
So that's in the back of my head after I just kind of recuperate from this. I just closed a show with my students last weekend.
Yeah.
So I just need a little bit of downtime, and then we'll get busy again figuring out what story would be good to do with the teens.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you kind of flip it to where you have the ideas and you just give it to Aidan? Like, you have the character, you have the thought process, how you have a vision, and then you give it to Aidan and he just, oh yeah, okay, you can do something with that. Or it's just him doing the
It's been pretty collaborative.
Okay.
And then as he works on it, like I'll get to read the first draft of something, and ask, like, could this character be developed a little more, or I love this scene, like, no matter what the scene, let's keep this scene. So it's very collaborative. But if he's inspired by a certain Bible story or character, then I will go with that, because I trust what the Lord is doing in his life, and I trust him as the writer. I want him to be passionate about it. It's just like any project. If you're not inspired with it, then it just feels like homework. And I don't want it to feel to either of us like it's a drudgery. I want us to both feel that it's, I want it to be spirit-led, not just feel spirit-led, but be spirit-led.
Yeah. Now, when you cast, is it for Christians only, or is it a mixture? How do you go about your auditions, and who's like the lead role to whatever script you get?
Well, so far, everything that we've done has either been for my acting studio or this project with Shuvah Yisrael. So so with the Shuvah project, we needed to use people in the congregation. So so that was exciting and
Its own challenge.
and a challenge. Because then you know, if you have characters that are a certain age and nobody in that age group auditions, then what do you do? So so the Lord just worked it out so amazingly. There were people. Our original cast actually changed because people's lives were changing. So they were scheduled to go on a trip, and it got changed, or their work situation changed, or their health situation changed. So we had kind of a continually changing cast. But God worked it all out. It was well cast. God did it. God did it. And we had some lovely people that, you know, kind of saved the day. They were not, they were thinking that they were maybe too busy because they didn't have the, you know, the whole 8 weeks to commit or 6 weeks to commit that we were working on it. But turns out they didn't need to work the whole all the week, the whole time period anyway, because they were a last minute come in and replace somebody that ended up with some sort of emergency or life challenge that couldn't be avoided. So we had some people that came in and did a beautiful job and really committed to not only learning their lines and figuring out, you know, where I wanted them to stand on stage, but really worked at connecting and playing with the scenes, playing with their scene partner, developing a rapport with the other characters in the scene, and doing some of the actor's homework that I love. I love that part of the process. And often you don't have time for that. You end up running out of time. And that's, I think, what was really special about how this play turned out was we had time to play, and even novice actors got to have some acting training during the rehearsal process through the kinds of exercises that I had them do that went beyond just where to stand and sit and walk. And
and I was going to say, shout out to Daniel, who built the stage by himself.
Oh, that was the thing too. Yes.
He told me that. I'm like, what?
Yes, Daniel. we were so blessed because I made an announcement. If there's anybody that has skills in these areas, please come see me. And we had an architect, Yenny is an architect, and he designed the set. And then we had a whole team of people that built the set. They were their own group doing their own thing, constructing it, and people offered their yard to have it built in. So
with their clothes to use as costumes.
And then we had people donate beautiful costumes.
I was going to say, those costumes, they fit the whole theme.
Yes, costumes. And we had people helping out with props. Some of them were crafting props. Some were just helping me find props. We had people doing on the day of, they did hair and makeup for us. We did have a teen group of 3 that did stage crew that hadn't done that kind of thing before. So they did a remarkable job. There were a lot of props to keep track of.
Yeah. I remember as soon as we finished worship, we had to put everything away and so I'm putting my gym bear away, and then I was helping John put up one of the arcs, and we put tape around. And I'm thinking, man, I hope that arc doesn't fall because if it falls, because we didn't put the tape on right, and I'm thinking, oh man, and of course I was helping, so it could have been just me trying to put the tape on right, and I'm thinking the whole time the play was going on, watching, I'm just watching that arc, man.
Watching the arch.
Please don't fall. Please don't fall. But it was on there pretty tight.
And it was such a cool set. It was really beautiful, and I loved the arches. And then we had these beautiful windows that were kind of fool the eye, trompe l'oeil kind of thing. Like the window looked like it had a windowsill on it that was just painted to look like a windowsill, and then there was a view out the window that was beautifully done, and we had sound. We had we had they were microphones, and we had a great sound team, and just everybody offered their talents. They were willing to be stretched in areas. The musicians, this was a fun scene, because there's a scene where the king can't sleep. And so Aidan wrote that these musicians were asked to come in and play some music for the king to sleep.
That was Rabbi Larry and Harry.
And that was Rabbi Larry on his signature, tambourine, and then Harry, who's an excellent musician, but we told him, please play horribly, because that's the funny part, is if you play horribly and then the king can't sleep. And so Harry was willing to play that funny role. And then my favorite line was when the musicians leave, the king says, now I'm more awake than I was before. So everybody was involved.
I was gonna say, if somebody wants to get involved with what you're doing, how could, outside of the church, how could they do that? Where's your studio located? Is it here in Orange County, or do you have an announcement that you do?
My studio it's in Orange County. I guess we could put my information
you can just
in the chat,
and
in the description. So mainly I work with homeschoolers and 6th grade to 12th grade. So for adults, I don't have anything going on. If there's enough demand for it, I would love to run some acting classes for adults. My main focus is usually training, so acting coaching, acting training, acting class, as compared to productions. Yes. So productions takes so long to do, and because I don't have a whole production staff, so I only try to do a couple things a year, and so right now our opportunities are through our congregation, doing whatever is next with our congregation, and then through my acting classes. But if I have enough interest in adult acting classes, I would love to run some adult acting classes.
If you reach out to other churches within the area, trust me, there will probably be a lot of people interested. And especially if you do more of biblical type scripts and stuff like that, you'd be surprised the talent that are in the church. And I think that's a big need. I think that's a big need, because there's a lot of good Christian movies out, pure flicks and so forth, but people want to see real drama. They want to see, and they can vision how it was in the Bible. I mean, we read it in the Bible, but then when you get a vision and you get a live vision, that's even like, wow, that was awesome. So maybe you could network with other churches to put the word out. Hey, if anybody's interested in acting or, you know, whatever they talents that they have in that area, why not? Because I think it's a big need.
Well, as we get these scripts written, it's really nice to be able to have them utilized more than once,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
they're um, they're well written.
yeah,
He's a good writer. He writes um, like that. That's his passion. That's his
yeah,
training. Um, film film is where his goals are mainly, probably. Um, but meanwhile, I'm really blessed to get
yeah, yeah.
to collaborate.
I mean, I think that's something you should really think about, and maybe going not within the Shuvah congregation, but take it out and see if any other churches want to collaborate. I mean, we have Woodbridge. I mean, you could just start
Woodbridge.
right there.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, it's something to pray about. That's for sure.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
and that was a nice thing. Like when Larry asked us at Shuvah, um, he he said, will you pray about doing a play for Purim, and and I appreciated that that approach, because it's up to the Lord. And I started praying about it, and I thought, where am I going to get a play? And then I decided I would do it if I had my buddy here.
and
He
it,
said he
and it,
graduated just in time.
and it helps him to develop more writing skills and
Hmm.
the production part of it and the film part of it and so
Hmm.
that's awesome, man. So we live in a world, as you can see, I like to say chaotic, crazy. What encouragement can you guys say to somebody that can maybe they will come to a play, a Esther play, and you know, but then maybe something that in your writing and that it just hits home in your plays that you do. What can you say to somebody that's kind of like losing hope? There's no hope. There's no where is God? You know, um, and for the non-believer that may become, what do you expect to that they will get out of that play? And then even for the believer, that wow, this play really spoke to my heart. And the drama. It's just like music. Worship does that. So, what can you say to encourage people um, in this chaotic world that we're living in?
You want me to take that, or
I can. I think that for the believer, for specifically for the Esther play or the Book of Esther, is just that God is always in control, even when it doesn't seem like He is. Right. So even when there are the Hamans of the world that come up with these plans to destroy other people,
Mhm.
then God is always still in control. He always has a plan, and you can see that with Esther and how he put her in that position for a reason, right? That's the most famous line of the Book of Esther is, perhaps you've been brought here for such a time as this, right? And that's I think that's really a great message from that story, and we could see it just in the production of the play, right? There was a bunch of things that went right, and some things that ended up going wrong, or differently than how we expected, with people coming in and out of the cast, or trying to figure out how the set was going to happen. And when I think everybody that worked on it would tell you that God just brought the whole thing together in its perfect timing, with everything for how it ended up working out. I think was better than we originally anticipated. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's just kind of right in there with, the story of Esther, where it's like God has a plan, God has His people for His plan, and all we have to do is trust Him and trust in His plan. Like Esther goes to the king and she says, "Well, if I perish, I perish," right? And that's the courage that we have to have, and it's a lot to ask, but it's also like, well, if our trust is in God, then it really isn't, because if he's for us, who can be against us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say that to that person, God sees you. God sees you. He knows your heart of hearts. If you are listening to For This Reason broadcast, or He has brought you into a church and you're hearing about the Lord, if you're hearing about the Lord today, if you've talked to a friend that told you about the Lord, He sees you and He loves you and He wants a relationship with you. And He has designed you purposefully, and He created you to be in relationship with Him. And that's and He made that possible through Jesus, through Yeshua. That's his Hebrew name, and that's what his mom called him. And he made it possible for us to have salvation, to have restoration, right? Sin gets in the way between our relationship with us and the Lord, and we can't have a relationship with Him with sin in the way. But because of Jesus and His death on the cross and His sacrifice that He made of His life and His resurrection, we are able to not have that sin barrier anymore. And we're able to have a relationship with Him that begins now and continues forever and ever. So wherever you are in your thoughts about your relationship with God, it's truly it's about that one-on-one relationship. And He has called you to hear this talk about the arts and film and drama for a reason, because He loves you.
That's awesome, you guys. Well, thanks for coming on to For This Reason. I know you guys are so busy. We're we're kind of busy. Cancellations, reschedule. And that's part of it. That's part of it. But thank you for taking the time out to come on and share. What you guys do, and like I say, we need more of that. We need more plays. We need more stuff. You know,
Thank
scripts
you.
and drama, and because I think that's that. Why not? You know.
Yeah, thank you for that encouragement, because we love it, and it's always
Yeah.
nice to know that it's so well received, and
Yeah.
to get the encouragement is lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. All right, you guys. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.